Hello and welcome back to Man vs Film. It's time for another top 10 movies that you can watch on Amazon Prime right now. So let's get started. Number 10, ICU. Strange occurrences plague a small town detective and his family as he investigates the disappearance of a young boy. As the pressure mounts on the job, a strange presence seems to have taken residence in his home. ICU is a movie I've recommended before. It is amazing. I can't tell you too much. It's about someone that's abducting and killing children, and it kind of transfers into the detective's home with some really supernatural, spooky goings on. But midway through this movie, it takes a turn and becomes surprising, something unusual and very, very different. Highly recommended. Better going into this movie knowing as little as possible. Number 9, Lady in the Cage. Miss Hilliard, a wealthy woman who lives in a 3-storey mansion, and her cage is her elevator, which stops a dozen feet short of the main floor due to an electrical failure. She rings her outside alarm, eventually noticed by a drunk derelict who breaks into the house, ignores her plight, and helps himself to various items. He returns a while later with 3 teenage hoodlums who proceed to terrorise the woman. A young James Caan is the head of the hoodlums that come to torture this woman, and it's pretty much her stuck within this cage as these people torment her, wreck her house, and possibly lead her down the path that she may die in there without any help. And to see her kind of lose her grip, and to see these people who can do whatever they want become unbridled terrorists in this woman's house is just shocking. Number 8, Fired Up. High school football stars Sean and Nick are dreading another summer at football camp. Then Nick hatches a brilliant scheme to enrol at cheerleading camp instead. Soon the pair are surrounded by beautiful girls. But the boys may have to revisit their playbook when Sean falls for Carly, the head cheerleader, who sees right through the guy's scheme. Ridiculously silly and over the top, this is a comedy movie that, well, it works. It's comedic and fun, and I've revisited this multiple times. And even though the people playing kids are obviously 10 to 15 years too old to be doing so, it doesn't take away anything from the movie. In fact, it adds to the silliness that's going on here. It's an incredibly fun idea. These guys want to go to cheerleading camp so they can hit on all the women. Comedy ensues. It's not for everyone. If you like this kind of thing, you'll think it's fun. Number 7, Shaft. Cool and deadly NYPD detective John Shaft arrests Walter Wade Jr. in a racially motivated slaying. The eyewitness disappears. Wade jumps bail for Switzerland, and Shaft is livid. 2 years later, Wade returns to face trial, confident his father's money and influence guarantee an innocent verdict. Shaft has to find the witness, get her to testify, and save the day. Came out in 2000, you've got Christian Bale as the bad guy, who is wonderfully slimy and sleazy in this. You get Samuel L. Jackson just being a badass as he is, and it's just one of those fun early 2000 thrillers that's interesting to watch. It's not one that's really lasted the test of time, but going back to it, I had a fun time watching it. Number 6, Crawl. When a huge hurricane hits her hometown in Florida, Haley ignores evacuation orders to look for her father. After finding him badly wounded, both are trapped by the flood, with virtually no time to escape the storm. They discover that rising water levels are the least of their problems. Alexandra Aja has a wonderful tale to tell here. A woman, her injured father, trapped in the basement of their house where the water is rapidly filling up with an alligator waiting to eat them. It's so much fun. This is one of those movies that really surprised me in the cinema. One I've gone back to and enjoyed even more. I think it's just wonderfully paced. It's exciting, thrilling, horrifying, has some terrific shots, gets a little bit ludicrous in the final third, but by that point, I liked the character. I wanted them to survive. Yeah, Crawl, amazing movie, well worth checking out. Number 4, Unhinged. A divorced mother honks impatiently at a deranged middle-aged stranger at a red light while running late on her way to work. His road rage escalates to horrifyingly psychotic proportions as he becomes single-mindedly determined to teach her a deadly lesson for provoking him. The man who is unhinged is Russell Crowe, and this kind of throwback to exploitation cinema. That's how it feels. It's a ludicrous story that escalates into murder and rampage, and it's just so much fun. I like the main character. I like Crowe as the bad guy who just goes to all kinds of lengths to teach this woman a lesson about driving etiquette. Check it out. Number 3, Arrival. Linguistics professor Louise Banks leads an elite team of investigators when gigantic spaceships touch down in 12 locations around the world. As nations teeter on the verge of global war, Banks and her crew must race against time to find a way to communicate with the ETs, hoping to unravel the mystery. She takes a chance that could threaten her life and quite possibly all of mankind. Arrival's a wonderful story. Denis Villeneuve directs the hell out of this, and Amy Adams gives a truly magnificent performance in this movie of aliens arriving on Earth and just trying to decipher what it is they're telling us. And it wraps up in a wonderfully emotional moment as you come to terms with what is actually happening. And it's terrific. Number 2, A Simple Plan. 3 blue-collar acquaintances come across millions of dollars in lost cash and make a plan to keep their find from the authorities. But it isn't long before complications and mistrust weave their way into the plan. Bill Paxton and Billy Bob Thornton star in one of Sam Raimi's best movies. This seems to have been forgotten for some reason. This is a slow-paced thriller where it really builds that tension and suspense all the way through it. Amazing performances from everyone. I love the way that the dread and terror starts to seep its way into the movie later on. I think some of the acting is just unbelievably perfect, and like I said, this is a great late night thriller to stick on and just be glued to. Number 1, Devil in a Blue Dress. It's 1948 in LA, and Ezekiel Easy Rawlings, an African-American World War II vet, is looking for work. At his friend's bar, he is introduced to a white man, DeWitt Albright, who's looking for someone to help him find a missing white woman, assumed to be hiding somewhere in LA's black community. Easy innocently accepts Albright's offer, however he quickly finds himself amidst murder, crooked cops, ruthless politicians, and brutalising hoodlums. Denzel Washington is just an amazing actor, and he brings Easy to life in this fantastic film noir. I love private detective movies. I love the 40s setting of this one. It just looks amazing, and all the production standards are great. It's got a wonderful mystery at the heart of it, and it's a movie that should have really had sequels for us to get our teeth into. I love Washington as this character, and I'm still hoping we're going to see a follow-up at some point. So there we have it, 10 movies to check out this month. I hope you find something there that you're curious enough to check out, and I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment box below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.